started. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are y'all? Doing good? All right. Well, this has been an amazing turnout. I just want to let y'all know thank you so much for being here. My name's Casey. I'm with Pivotal Physical Therapy. We're here for a falls and balance analysis today. But I'm also here excited to be up in front of you guys because I'm about to introduce you to somebody that has dedicated his career to helping seniors stay safe, stay active, and also keep their independence. And over a decade of his work has been dedicated with helping seniors here in our community, and he's helped thousands keep their mobility, improve their balance, and also maintain their independence. So, on top of all that, he is one of 2,000 board-certified geriatric specialists here in the country. He also has a doctorate in physical therapy. So, on top of all that, you know, I think we're in good hands today with this seminar, so that's awesome. But if you guys can help me give him a warm welcome and let him start his seminar, Dr. Nick Trevino.
Amen.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, thank you guys for coming here. Thank you, Casey, for the introduction. I thank the Bayview Center, too, for letting me come and talk to you guys. Who here would like to learn more about their balance? Say, I do.
I do.
The other we do a little louder. Let's hear you say, I do.
I
That's
do.
much better, yeah. Who would like to learn what they can do at home to start to improve their balance? I want you to say, I do. Yeah, you got it. Perfect. Okay, cool. So that ad, the Facebook ad that we posted, went out to about 500 people. So good turnout. You guys are the ones that are serious, not just curious about your balance, but serious about making a change. So good job. That first step is always the hardest, trying to initiate that change. So give yourself a round of applause for coming out here. Good. Nice. I won't make everybody wait. We'll go ahead and get the raffle out of the way too, so we can have the winners. All right. So Casey's gonna shake it up. Yeah. Oh, you can reach in. Oh, go for it.
You want?
Yeah.
No, you
Oh,
reach
want
in.
me
I
to?
put
Okay.
the names in. You gotta reach in.
This one's got good. We've got, first one's going to Pat Smith.
Pat Smith.
Oh, nicely done. We have a massage gun and a heated blanket. You can take your pick. It's lucky number.
Which one would you like, Miss Smith?
What's the choice?
So it's a massage gun or a heated blanket?
We needed that heated blanket last week.
It's a hard choice, isn't
I
it?
guess I'll go for the heated blanket.
Heated blanket.
There we
There
go,
you
okay.
ma'am. You are welcome. Thank
Nice.
you.
All right.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Let's hit that second one. Let's see who we got. This is Iris Sims.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, there you go.
You don't even have to stand up. I'll come bring it to you. There you go. You got a massage gun.
Nice.
girl.
Good job, Miss Iris. Nice. Okay, cool. So we'll talk about the elephant in the room too, right? Why am I doing this? What's the catch? No catch. At the end of the presentation, I'll make an offer to come work with our team. Well, that's it. So no catch. Just gonna talk to you at the end, just about working with us. Does that sound fair? Yes. Okay. I got 2 yeses. That works. I know. We'll close this door too. Thanks, Casey. All right. So let's. What makes me qualified to talk about balance? Where does my story begin? For me, it starts 10 years ago. So I was working as a home health contractor. So I was working with all the home health agencies in the area, over 20 agencies, going out helping seniors with their balance. And then my grandma, who lives over in Milton, she fell, had the nice painted like bruises on the face, had the like a wrapping from the ER, came home and then kept falling at home. And so since I worked with all these home health agencies, right, the family naturally asked me, okay, which one's the best home health agency? You know, who's gonna help, you know, get her to stop falling and improve her balance? And as I was thinking about it, you know, I had a kind of troubling thought, like this is a pretty important decision because it could really affect her quality of life. You don't want to get it wrong. And I knew all the home health agencies, and there's a lot of very nice therapists, but none of them I thought were, you know, none of the agencies really make that change in balance that was gonna, you know, get somebody off of using an assistive device or stop falling. So I knew there's probably gonna be a lot of sitting and like kicking your knees, right, and then like a little walking. And some of you may have done home health, and that might have been your experience. And so I wanted there to be a better program for improving balance and actually seeing functional change in people. So I watched every like live continuing education course there was on balance by the American Physical Therapy Association. I attended every class that they offered. I read all the books on balance, and I eventually sat for their most difficult course. It's a board certification test. It's a 6-hour test where you sit and they limit how many people can pass. And so, yeah, 6 hours, a long time. A lot of testing. But pass I did. So I became a board certified geriatric specialist. And then armed with that knowledge, I decided to make my own practice where we could really focus on improving people's balance and getting their independence better. And so I started a business in 2023. Grandma was the first customer, but happy to say, like, stopped falling, got her off of using the cane, returned her back to walking around the neighborhood, and I'll post pictures on Facebook of her journey too, about what she looks like with the thing on her head and everything like that. So I'm here to share that knowledge here with you guys today. So let's talk about it, let's dive in. There's 3 ways typically that people will fall. The first one is like a knee or a leg gives way and they collapse down, or you're walking with your knees bent and you kind of slowly go down there. That one's more of a strength issue, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But the other ones are more, you're standing here, you start to lean, you can't get your feet underneath you, or you're walking and something catches your foot and you go tumbling forward that way, right? And so those are more balance issues, so that's what we're really gonna hone in on today. And I'm gonna be talking about balance a lot today, so I think let's start with defining what balance is. And the most important thing that I want you guys to take away from today is that balance is a skill. It's something that you can improve, it's something that if you work on, it gets better. It's something that if you don't work on, it will get worse. But it's a skill, just like anything else, just like needlepoint or tennis or cards. If you go years without working on that, you're not gonna be very good at it. But if you practice it every day, you're gonna get really good at it. So I'm gonna be saying this a ton. Balance is a skill, and I'm gonna help, hopefully you guys can help me. So balance is a skill, that's right, you can work on it. Yeah, not just something that you have, or I'm so-and-so years old, I guess my balance is supposed to be bad. No, it's something that definitely anybody can improve with practice. So, to demonstrate that, no, balance is a skill, right? And let's talk about what type of skill that is. Balance is about keeping your center of gravity over your base of support. I'm gonna use this ball to represent my center of gravity. This is where the majority of my weight is, like the average. So I've gotta be able to keep it over my base of support to stay balanced. The wider my base of support, the easier it's gonna be. The more narrow my base of support, the more difficult it gets. So a table got a really wide base of support. It's got 4 legs on the ground. That's not really moving, it's not gonna fall. A cane or a stick, very narrow base of support, right? It'll fall over if you don't hold it. And so that's the skill. It's keeping your center of gravity over your base of support. Those 2 falls we were talking about, that's usually your center of gravity has left your base of support, you can't wrestle it back, or you're walking, somebody pushes you, or you trip or something, and now your center of gravity is way outside your base of support, and you can't bring it back to where it's supposed to be. So that's the skill that you're learning whenever we're practicing balance, is wrestling that center of gravity back to your base of support. So I've got a little demonstration here. I don't know if you guys have seen these before. It used to be fun. These little balance bird thingies. You guys, these are old toys. You ever seen them? No? So I'll pass them around for everybody. But this is like a trick about base of support and center of gravity. Here you go. Try it out, pass them around. Here you go, Sarah, if you want to you. I'll give you one. I'll give you the rest of them. There we go. Yeah. And then you just balance it on your finger. There we go. We'll pass these around. Yeah, easy, right?
Nick, what are they called?
I think it's just a little balance bird, but it's more just a demonstrative point, right? The bird balances on your finger, and it looks like it wouldn't be able to balance. Yeah, and it's like very, very sturdy. And you think, oh, well, it's just like balancing on this tiny, tiny base of support. How's it do that? Well, it's because its weight is right in its head. So it's keeping its center of gravity right on its narrow, narrow base of support. And you can touch like the back of it, and it doesn't lose its balance because all of its center of gravity is in right where it's supposed to be. So that's how those work, but that's kind of a tricky demonstration of what balance is and how your balance works. Yeah, that's right. Cool, all right. So let's check somebody's balance. Who here doesn't think they have good balance? Yeah, come on up. So, I think you were hitting coming up. Come on up here. You don't have to. Everybody here has trouble with their balance. No, you don't have to. You want to sit down? No, we're just gonna check.
I'm already
All
up.
right, there we go. We'll give her a round of applause. Yeah, being very brave. That's good. Okay, so now we're gonna check your balance, and we're just gonna see how good you are at keeping your center of gravity over your base of support. So here's what we'll do. I'm gonna let you hold on to the table here. We start usually, can you stand with your feet wide? No problem, right? And the next one's usually, can you stand with your feet together? We wanna see if you can do that for a minute. We'll let you come over here and hold on to the,
Wait a minute.
that's an important one too. Keep those shoes tied.
Okay.
All right, you can hold on to the ground. So now we're gonna make it even more challenging. Let's go 1 foot in front of the other. So we're gonna make her base of support more narrow. So the benchmark here would be 30 seconds. Can you turn loose? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can all count. 7, 8. There we go. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You're in the home stretch. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Good, that's a pass. So good work. That will give a round of applause. And now the harder one, right? So you pass that, that means we gotta make it even more narrow. So that's standing on 1 foot. So we're gonna try that. Yeah, see if you can turn loose. You got 1, 2, whoop, 1. So about 1 second. That's good. You get that. Take it back. Give her a round of applause there. So good. So not bad. What we would say, that's a moderate risk of falls. Everybody here should be able to stand on 1 foot for 10 seconds. That would take you out of the risk of falls. If you can't do that, you have a good chance you're gonna have a fall this year. If you go to the hospital, they're gonna put that yellow bracelet on you that says fall risk. And you probably need an assistive device, like a cane to start with. So you might be thinking, I don't stand on 1 leg very often. Why would I need to be able to do that? Well, you do kind of stand on 1 leg a lot more than you think. Every time you take a step, every time you're walking, you've got to be able to stand on 1 foot to progress that other foot forward. So I'm shifting my center of gravity over each foot as I'm standing. And so if you're barely able to stand on 1 foot for like a second, usually you see people take a wider base of support to make it easier, and then kind of take some smaller steps so they don't have to leave their foot off the ground as high. And sometimes it gets real bad, their feet don't even leave the ground, and then you're just shuffling, right? And that makes even more risk of falls, because if you've got, let's say, a throw rug, right? Or a carpet, or uneven concrete, and your heel is that far off the ground, that's when you can get caught and sent forward. So we need you to be able to stand on 1 foot, be confident and good at that. That way you can take these bigger steps, and that way if something nudges you, you weren't already about to fall just because you were on 1 foot. So that's how you would check your balance at home, is to see. Oh, I got one guy back there. How we do? 10 seconds? No? A little practice. It gets better, right? It will get better if you start practicing it. It'll get better probably faster than you think, because balance is a skill, right? Balance is a skill. That will get better. It's not something that it's just gonna stay that way. It'll get better next week if you start practicing it. All right, cool. So, give you a little story. There was a lady that came into the clinic, and her name was Brenda. And she was falling every time she would go up the steps into her house with groceries in her hands. And so that's what we were working on. Can anybody guess what the problem was with Brenda?
Too much in the front.
Center
of balance.
Could be, yeah, but really the big thing was, she'd come in with the groceries in her hand, and then she'd have to be on that 1 foot to step. She couldn't hold on to the things. It was all about, yeah, exactly, standing on that 1 foot there. So we worked on it, and now she stopped falling. She conquered her step. We'll post a picture of her on Facebook too, top of her steps. She made a lot of improvement. She was, to get around it, she was putting her groceries up the steps and then sitting on her butt and then just scooting herself up the steps. But now she's doing it with her feet, so that's good. We'll post her picture up before. Okay, cool. So that's what balance is. Let's talk about my framework for improving balance. A lot of P's. So we've got the pain and posture phase, that's what it starts with. And then a prime phase, that's where we're working on your muscles, your individual systems. And then a performance phase, we're trying to make you get back to doing the stuff you like to do. And then prevent. We're gonna go through all those. But pain and posture, prime, perform, prevent. You don't have to remember all that, but just so you know where we're on the framework. First step is pain and posture. Won't go too deep into pain today, that's probably another topic, but that's a big part of it, is trying to get your pain down so that you can become more active. Because if you're more active, you're gonna start challenging your balance more. And balance is a skill, so if you keep practicing it, it will get better. But we'll save that for another day. Let's talk about posture. There's a lot of ways that posture can contribute to your balance and falling, but a lot of ones that we see are gravity, pulling your head and your shoulders forward. We've got, usually from a lot of sitting, You can have tight hip flexors, and then if you wear shoes with a bigger heel, right, then your toes can be forward. So I'm already like in this position to start with. You guys kind of see the problem with my center of gravity? I'll use the ball so you guys can see. But that means even before I'm moving, I've already got my center of gravity like outside my base of support. I'm already going forward. So if anything pushes me from the back, or if I trip, it's gonna be very easy for me to keep going forward if I start going forward. So what you wanna be focusing on are chest stretches. Classic one is like that doorway stretch. If you're doing yoga, it's like up here. You wanna be focusing on hip flexor stretches. So that's pushing your hips forward, right? You can do standing lunges. You can be dropping your leg off the edge of the bed, just stretching this. We'll post pictures of these on our Facebook too, so you guys have these stretches. But prioritizing mostly postural in your chest and your hip flexor. That's half the battle. The second battle is just being aware, trying to make sure that you're pulling your shoulders back, that you're squeezing your hips forward, you're stacking everything over your base of support before you start walking. That way you're not already like headed forward, right? So let's do a demonstration. Who wants to check out their posture? Oh yeah, come on up. That's good. Let's give a round of applause here. All right, let's see what a good door would be. I like to use the wall as a good base for my posture.
Okay.
So I'll show you mine first, right? If I just stand here with my feet against the wall, I don't know if you can see, but
Yeah,
my head is forward, my shoulders are forward. If I arch my back a little bit and squeeze my shoulders, now I've lined up. Now I can feel the wall on the back of my head and on my shoulders and on my hips. And so this is more of where I should be posture-wise. So if you're not sure, like how is my posture doing, you can use a wall to kind of set and see how far away you are. You wanna try standing with your back to the wall here? Let's take a look. So not bad, right? But we see shoulders are forward, right? You corrected it with your head, but when you started, you were just like me. Head forward, shoulders forward, rounded. And so for you, if we were working on your posture, we'd be trying to stretch your chest, but also work on a lot of like neck and shoulder strengthening so that you can stack your head over there. Hips look pretty good, but we do have a little bit of the head forward, a little bit of the shoulders forward, so that would be working on.
And probably because of that, I'm visually impaired, so I only see out of my left eye.
Yeah, could be contributing too.
Yeah.
Good, thank you for coming up. Let's give her a round of applause. Good, okay. So that's posture, that's the first phase. We're looking at chest stretching, we're looking at hip stretching. Let's keep going. Next phase would be prime, right? So we're working on getting you functionally strong, but also working on your balance systems, like your inputs there. So let's talk about strength first. I'm gonna show you this chair here. You guys might have gone to balance classes or done this before, and a lot of times you go into the class and you're doing exercises, but it's just like a lot of kicking and a lot of marching. Anybody see kind of what the problem with those exercises specifically for balance is? Any volunteers?
They don't work your upper part.
Well, no upper part, but I think core, yes, more core than anything, right? I'll give you the visual. So here's my center of gravity, my center of mass right here. If I'm just sitting and kicking, I'm gonna get real good at kicking, but my center of gravity, I'm not even moving my center of gravity. So a much better exercise would be practicing standing up and sitting down. Because now I've really gotta be able to wrestle that center of gravity from where it is and then up. And that's part of recovering from balance, is if I start leaning this way, I'm gonna have the core strength to bring my center of gravity back to my base of support. And if I trip, right, I've really gotta be able to bring it back or keep my legs underneath me. So that's a good functional measure of your strength. And the benchmark there would be 10 and 30 seconds. You should be able to stand 10 times in 30 seconds from a level chair like this, like ideally without using your hands. So if you're not sure if you can do that or you don't think you can, that tells us one of your balance issues might be that you are lacking some core strength. So that's another straightforward one to work on at home. Just once a day working on some sit to stands from a chair where you're really working on your center of gravity. All right, we need another volunteer. Let's do a demonstration. Anybody? Oh yeah, come on up. Nice.
That was kind of cheating since you're my physical.
Oh yeah, we've seen. Oh, I recognize you. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so we're gonna have a seat here. All right, we're gonna see how many times you can stand up in 30 seconds.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
In case you able to watch or anything. Oh, okay, perfect. So you tell us go, and then we'll count them out.
All right, ready, set, go.
All right. 1, and everybody help me count. 2, you got it. 3, the adrenaline going. 4, you got it. 5, 6, how's our time doing? 7, 8, 9, right, so I would say pretty good core strength. If she was having balance issues, we wouldn't spend a whole lot of time on core strength because you've got that covered. We'd be looking at other systems. But if you're not confident that you can do that standing up from the chair, that's a good place to start. You gotta build up some of that, you gotta get better at moving your center of gravity back to where it's supposed to be. So some other systems that we look at. Your balance has 3 inputs. So this is how your body knows you're balanced. The first one is your vision. So you're looking, and when the horizon starts to move, that's your body's cue to correct your balance there. But you've also got your vestibular system. So if I have my eyes closed, I can kind of feel when I'm in motion. That's my inner ear telling me where I'm supposed to be going. You've also got nerves in your leg called your proprioceptors that are telling you where you are in space. So without looking at my leg, I know it's about right there. So I've got nerves giving me feedback. All 3 of those communicate with your brain to tell you where you are in space. If you want, you can close your eyes and try to clap. That's how you can clap, because you know where your arms are. They've all got nerves. Yeah, exactly. You can do it without looking. So a lot of times, especially where we're all walking in very well lit, like level places, you get very reliant on your vision for balance, and then stop listening to those other systems. So you only have maybe 1 input coming in. That makes it even harder to balance. So you can practice those things too, which is a little more difficult. Do we want to come back up and take a look at your balance with oh no, your friend. Jane, yeah, all right, that's good. She's feeling confident. Cool. So we saw she could stand in tandem, 1 foot in front of each other for 30 seconds. We're gonna try again with our eyes closed though, and see what the difference is.
Oh, no.
All right, when you're ready.
Your foot forward.
Yeah, this one's good. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 3 seconds, right? That's all right. We'll give another round of applause. Good work. Good work. Pretty big change. We'd expect it to be a little worse, but only maybe 10 to 20% worse. Right? She went from 30 seconds to 3. That's like a 90% decline. So we'd be looking at, okay, we need to do a better job of listening to our vestibular system. That's something you practice just by working on balance with different visual inputs or with your eyes closed. It's a hard one to practice. I recommend doing that with a friend because you don't want to be closing your eyes and fall. But that would be how you improve that. So story time, right? I had another lady, her name was Dolly, and she would fall every time she was in the shower doing her hair, like shampoo in her hair. Anybody know? Anybody guess what the problem was there? Yeah, that's right, exactly. Both, yeah. I mean, close her eyes, loses track, right? Falls in the shower. And so for her, we did a lot of balance training with eyes closed and on slippery surfaces, on more difficult surfaces where she's working on the nerves. And then she got back to showering. I don't have a picture of her showering, but she got better. She got back to her showers without fall. So yeah, that's prime. You've primed all your systems. Next phase of rehab then is your performance phase. So you've got your core strength. We fixed your posture, your pain's down. We've got all of our systems kind of communicating to each other now. Now it's time to actually work on the stuff that you want to get back to. Because ultimately that's the whole goal, is really to get you back to the things that you like to do. Like gardening, golf, right? Playing with your grandkids. That's the stuff that, needs direct training. So the simplest though would just be practicing on 1 foot at home. Performance phase. Okay, cool. And then the last one, and it's also making sure that you can do balance when you're distracted. Because a lot of times, you'll get really good at standing on 1 foot if you are zoned in and you've got your point on the wall and you're focusing on your balance. But that's not always like real life, where your phone is ringing and somebody's talking to you and you're walking somewhere you're not sure about, and who knows what the ground is going to look like too. So it's, step 1 is just getting you out of the risk of falls category. But then step 2, getting you good balance, is working on it in a lot of different situations and making sure that you can do it when you're distracted. So we do that with like a brain teaser, or you can do math problems if you like math. Or Jessica likes to have people guess categories in countries or colors of things. But that's what we'd be working on there too. And so at home, you'd be maybe, I have ladies that will do Sudoku while they're standing on 1 foot in the morning, after they've learned, after that standing on 1 foot has gotten too easy for them. So another story for that one, right? I had another lady come in. Her name was Karen. Balance, she felt was pretty good, but then she went to Italy and had tripped like on the cobblestones and broke her leg and had to be flown back, and it was a disaster for her. But her big issue there was being distracted. She had really good balance if she was honed in, but as soon as we added a couple of extra circumstances, there goes the balance. And so, we practice that, just like I said. We would do a color chart, we'd be standing on 1 foot, I'm happy to say that she got much better, and her leg doesn't hurt, and now she was afraid to travel for like 10 years, but she booked a trip back to Mexico this year, so she's out there. You might be there now, but I'll post her picture on Facebook too. But yeah, so that's the cognitive aspect of your balance. And the last one is prevention. So we talked about it a lot, but the whole goal with all this balance is to try to get you back to a more active lifestyle. Because that's when you will be working on your balance kind of naturally in the wild. Most people don't really enjoy practicing their balance alone, like in their house. But if you get back to, let's say, pickleball, or golfing, or gardening, that's the type of things that challenge your balance naturally, and you don't necessarily have to tell people you need to go golf. They just like to go golf. Or you have to go gardening or walking around your neighborhood. It's just much more enjoyable. It's a lot stickier. So that's always the plan, because if you stop working on it, right, like what happens if you leave anything alone? Like what happens if you leave your hair alone? It's all messy, right? Completely tangled. What happens if you leave your garden alone? Weeds, yeah, disorganization. What happens if you leave your grandkids alone? Yeah, disaster, chaos, right? Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what happened too with your balance is, you know, for a lot of people, they stop, they have a fall, and they've lost some strength and balance, and so they stop doing something that they feel like was outside their range, and then they lost even more strength and balance. And so they do like a little bit less, and they lose even more strength and balance, and they do less. It kind of gets worse and worse until you're just stuck like in the recliner watching TV and are afraid to leave because your balance is gone. So the goal is to get you back to doing the stuff you want to do. That way you've got like a natural improvement in your balance. Good. All that sound okay? So let's review, right? The things to start working on at home are posture. You want to think about your posture. Bringing your shoulders back, trying to push your hips forward, stretching your chest, stretching your hip flexors. We'll post those stretches. But that's all, you know, yoga's good for that, is trying to bring everything back, lining it up. And then being conscious of making sure when you're walking, you're aware of stacking everything up. So 1, stretches, right? Number 2, we want to work on your functional core strength. That's that standing up, sitting back down from the chair. If you can't do it without your hands, start with your hands. If a level chair is too hard, start with a higher surface and then start to work your way down. Until you can do 10 in 30 seconds from a level chair, then you're good, like our volunteer. And then the last one, right, is practicing standing on one foot. If one foot's too hard, you can stand one foot in front of the other. It's just you're trying to get your base of support as narrow as you can. That can be a kind of dangerous one, so I think the better way to do that is in the corner of your home. Find a corner like this, put a chair in front of you, and you practice it right here. But that way, worst case scenario, there's not a whole lot of places for you to fall. You can practice those things. If you start practicing, it will get better, because balance is a skill. That's right. You got it. Keep it going. That's right. Cool. All right. So that's the stuff to start working on at home. At the beginning of the lecture, we talked. I said I was going to make an offer at the end. So is it okay if I make the offer to work with our team? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Good. All right. So I guess to hone in though, right? Balance is kind of a big problem. If you don't fix it, you are likely to have a fall if you don't have the balance to keep yourself up. And a third of the time when you have a fall, everything's okay, you just kind of recover. But then a third of the time, you end up needing like another assistive device. And then another third of the time, sometimes you can have like a major surgery or even like result in death. So it is kind of a big deal if you don't start to work on it. We kind of painted a picture of what happens if you start to lose your balance and start to do less. We don't want that for you. Right? Anybody here have a fall and stop doing something that they liked before? At least one, probably more than that. Yeah, we got 2, 3.
Well, I had a stroke.
Oh, yeah, that's a hard one too.
So I was working at a job, and I started, that morning I got there early before everybody else, and everything started spinning around.
Yeah.
And then it quit when I sat down, or I stood up and it quit.
Yeah.
And then I went back after lunch, and it started doing the same thing. And I asked another girl, I said, would you help me go to the restroom? I've got to throw up. And she went over there to get somebody else, and then I just fell into the bistro chairs and tables. And
yeah, so that was more, that was a neurologic process that was happening for you. But I mean, even if you do have vertigo or stroke, you still respond to stimulus. So you can still work on your balance. You just have, your ceiling might be a little lower than some others, but it will still improve, especially if you haven't been working on it before. So, yeah, if anybody would like to, we take people from any starting point and we work on their balance. We do one-on-one evaluation so we can get to the root cause of what your balance issue is. You know, it might be neurologic stroke related, or it might be not strength related, as we saw with our other person. We do hands-on visits for one-on-one to make sure that we have the right intensity so we can catch you. We're trying to find the sweet spot where it's not so difficult that it's making you sore, but the more challenging it is, the faster you'll improve on your balance numbers, your metrics, being able to stand on one foot. We do a lot of hands-on manual therapy, so a lot of stretching, postural stretches to try to get you lined up, and that's to make sure that you don't accidentally hurt yourself stretching at home. Does anybody here hurt themselves stretching at home on accident? No? Oh, no? Okay, that's good. Yeah, and then like I said, it's all to get back to your specific sport or active hobby that's gonna improve your balance long-term. Like that's always the goal, what we're trying to get you back to. So some common questions, where's our clinic? It is 2 miles up the street, it's right on Maxwell Street, just 2 miles away there. Do you need a doctor's referral? Don't need a doctor's referral, we have a direct access clinic, you can come right in without a referral, we will fax everything to your physician so he's in the loop. What if you're already in physical therapy? You can try for free, just can't come on the same day, but you can have multiple cases open, it won't mess up anything with your current therapy. And if you like our place better, you can switch, it's painless. And then, probably wondering costs too. Typical evaluation costs about $110, but if you have Medicare and secondary, it's completely covered. It's 100%, no authorization needed. You know, they don't want you falling either because it's very expensive for Medicare when they have to pay for surgeries at hospitals. So they're also invested in getting you back to doing the things you want to do. All right, we only have about 10 slots open for next week, but anybody interested in taking the first step to improve their balance, go ahead and stand up. Come on, stand up, we'll give a round of applause. Yeah, and then Casey over there will get you registered, right over there. And yeah, I'll open the floor to questions.
What are your hours of operation?
We're open from 7:20 to 5.
Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday, yes ma'am, good question. All right, yes sir.
What about neuropathy? I've not been diagnosed with it, so.
Yeah.
It's about, is it really anything to be addressed?
Well, I'm glad you said that. So yeah, we see a ton of success with infrared lasers on feet, but I'll save that for another talk too. Short answer is yeah, you do. Lots of good stuff for neuropathy. But in respect to balance, it is, so that's one of the inputs that we talked about, your nerves in your feet. So you're playing with just your vestibular and your vision. You can still improve your balance. It's gonna be a little more challenging for you because you can't feel your feet, but getting to standing on one foot, that's fine. You know, balance beams, that might be a little more difficult. But just getting you back to like a low risk of falls and making sure that you can live an active life, that's all very achievable, especially with neuropathy. But I think there's a lot we can do for neuropathy with those infrared lasers. Good question.
What about regional complex pain syndrome?
Yeah, that one's a little more complicated.
I couldn't hear the question.
She asked about regional complex pain syndrome.
I have it in my foot.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't, not as much of that, but you could try it with the laser. The infrared laser usually works on neurologic stuff.
The only thing, so far that's worked is they did a therapy on my back where they did, I don't know what it's called, I'm sorry, but it's, they did something that they can do temporarily, and then they're gonna go in and do surgery on my back.
Yeah.
So this comes from a different surgeon, because the pain management surgeon did.
Yeah, I'll talk to you a little bit after the thing too, because it sounds like a lot of specific questions on back pain. So I'm gonna connect with you right after the presentation, we'll talk about that. In the blue, I think you had a question, right?
Oh, yes. You know what's happening to me is, let's say I'm driving for, let's say 30 minutes or 40 minutes or something. When I get out of the car and I start walking,
Yeah.
I'm experiencing weakness and pain in my legs, and it's almost like I'm gonna fall down. I have to go
Right.
somewhere and hang on.
So not dizziness or vertigo, but more like
No,
stiffness and pain.
it's localized here.
Yeah, so right, we checked you out on eval, but the things we'd be doing is strengthening your legs, particularly those functional strengths, and more, you're probably gonna be wanting to stretch, especially if they're feeling tight. So we'd be doing like leg stretches. You'd be looking at leg stretches and then lots of strengthening exercises to make sure you're not getting too stiff, so you're keeping like your blood flowing in the car, you're not stuck in one spot for more.
So this could be a vascular issue then too?
I mean, it could just be a weakness and like an arthritis issue. but,
Oh, yeah.
but all that to say, balance would still improve. Like you get out, you're feeling weak in your legs, and it's just gonna, you got less balance, so you wanna start as high as you can. You've got great balance otherwise, and when your legs are weak, you should be able to pick up the slack. So I'd still encourage you to keep working on your balance and your strength. It's just gonna help everything.
32 hours and straight.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am. And then in the back.
Because I got lost, I missed it.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Got so lost. And I have two knee replacements, both legs.
2 knee replacements, uh-huh.
I think, I don't know, but I think a lot of it has to do with that.
Yeah.
Because there's times, I shouldn't say there's times, almost every time I've fallen.
Yeah.
I don't know why or how.
Right,
And, I have no strength.
Yeah.
Zero strength, to the point where I think I was on the floor for 8 hours before someone helped.
yeah.
And
so-
I couldn't get myself up.
Yeah, we see that a lot. So, people have a surgery. You have a surgery, you lose a lot of balance and strength. A lot of times you do rehab and they do a lot of good functional stuff, but sometimes they don't always focus in on all of your balance. So you might have built range of motion and strength, but maybe didn't put quite as much time into balance as you could have. But it could also be a strength issue for you. We see a lot of people with after knee replacements, right? If you were walking and your knees are bent, are already pretty close to collapsing. So that's more of the first fall that we had talked about in the
So you
beginning.
do a lot of strength.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be tailored individually, but yeah, so it sounds like yours would be a little bit of column A and column B. And on the floor too, people will fall on the floor and they'll be there for hours and you can lose a lot of strength just from being on the floor for hours, a lot of functional stuff. Good question, yes?
Okay, out of all the phases,
Yeah.
the main thing I have, like walking on a surface like this is fine.
Right?
When you're in the yard or you're in
Uneven
uneven surfaces,
Yeah,
which one of these? Because even trying to garden or do anything else.
right. So you're
uneven
looking at,
surfaces.
so if you can stand on 1 foot for 10 seconds, you've got that down. I start to look at putting like a pillow on the floor. So now you're having to like really use your ankle. You don't have, it's not a flat surface anymore. It's like an uneven, softer surface. And you can get squishier and squishier and make it harder and harder. Like a Serta pillow would probably be the most challenging there. So that's how you would challenge yourself even more to work on like uneven and they'll make like little balls and stuff you can balance on too. But I'd start with a pillow. Everybody has a pillow or a Serta mattress. Great question. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I've noticed you talk about fall.
Mhm.
Is there anything you're gonna tell us about how to fall?
Oh, how to fall?
Yeah.
Out on your head. Yeah, so, not to make it too complicated, but, we'll go into it. So there's 3 ways to prevent a fall when it's happening. The first one is from your ankle. If I start going back, it's about shifting my weight kind of to I'm starting to go back, I can catch myself with my feet. If I'm going too far back, right, the next one is like a knee, like I'm dropping my knees. But the third one is usually a hip, they call it hip strategy. So you're going back, it's like putting your bottom back out. So you can throw your center of gravity forward. Or say, if I'm going backwards, right, I'm trying to put my butt out so I can get my center of gravity back to where it's supposed to be. That does take training, but that's something that we would practice on in therapy, is get you off balance to a point where you feel like you're gonna fall in a safe environment, and then be practicing those strategies. And then it's kind of just about muscle memory and reflex. And both of those could be trained. Like those will get better as you know what to do. But maybe down on the shoulder would probably be the best. Just try to avoid the head because those are the worst ones. If you're on blood thinners, you should probably go get it checked out anytime you hit your head. Good question though. Yeah. Other questions? Yes.
Bone to bone,
Yeah, arthritis. Mm-hmm.
if bone to bone, can you do something about that?
Oh, yeah, of course. We have a lot of pain modalities. That's more on via pain workshop. I can definitely talk to you about it afterwards. It's gonna be it's still gonna be a strengthening issue. And even if you don't have cartilage in your knee, there are people that don't have a leg. They have a prosthetic leg, but you can still balance on that prosthetic leg if you practice it.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot we can do for arthritis. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Durant?
Stroke.
Mhm.
Neurological things. I'm just asking.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's challenging because now you don't have as much, your neurological pathways have been impacted. Can still be improved though. It's just the ceiling's going to be probably unique. Yeah, right. Yeah, we have many patients that we're working on with active strokes right now. And so it is a skill. It's just there's going to be a ceiling, right? Takes longer, yeah, and then You know, it depends on how much was affected on the stroke. There's always room for improvement, but not everybody can always reach the ceiling. And it's like, might just mean they top out at having to use a cane or something. But great question. Cool, all right. Any other questions? Good, all right. Well, thank you guys for coming out today. There's some food left over, so you can grab some if you want. I'll put this back. Yeah, we will see you next time. We'll grab the couple that were ready to work on their balance.